The question is, what is Auxin and how do they control tropisms?
Cool, thanks for that learner question. It was, what are auxins and how do they control tropisms? Well, before we start, I think it's good to just make sure we know the vocab, okay? So first of all, Auxin is a plant hormone, specifically a growth hormone. Now, it is spelled A-U, Auxin, although it is supposed to be said Auxin, but say it as you will, as long as you spell it correctly, because remember, in a test or exam, all the biological terms that you need to spell them correctly, or else you won't get that mark. Okay, so auxins are a plant growth hormone. Now, tropism refers to directional growth, which occurs due to a directional stimulus. Now, it sounds like a lot of information at once, so let's break it up. Right, auxin is a type of plant hormone produced in the meristems. Now, does anyone in studio remember what the meristems are?
No.
No. Okay. Those are the growing tips of the plant, okay, such as the root or the top of the shoot that grows up towards the sun, okay? That's what we call the meristems, those little cells there. Now, what auxin does is it causes young cells to elongate. Now, the reason these young cells can elongate is because their cell walls are still quite elastic. If you remember the structure of a plant cell, it has quite a regular shaped wall, almost like a rectangle, and then the cell membrane is found just within that. So these young cells, they are still quite elastic and they can absorb a lot of water. So it's really easy for them to elongate and get longer, and that's what actually makes the plant able to grow. Okay, so let's have a look at the different effects of auxins. Apical dominance, leaf fall, fruit development, root formation, and what we're going to be looking at today, tropisms. Okay, so as I said, auxins cause tropism to happen, okay? Because as they cause cells to elongate, on certain sides of the plant, they will cause cells to elongate more than the other side, which causes the plant to turn and grow in a specific direction. Have you seen that happen before?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at the types of tropisms we get and why this directional growth happens. We either have geotropism, which is growth that is decided by the force of gravity. Okay, which way is gravity pushing down or pulling down? This way, okay? So our root grows downwards due to gravity. We have phototropism. What does the word photo mean?
The picture, photosynthesis, light.
Light, good, okay. So photosynthesis needs light, photographs need light. Okay, phototropism looks at directional growth because of a light stimulus. So that's probably what you guys have seen. If you leave a plant on a windowsill and there's light just coming in from the one side, that plant may turn, the flower may turn to the windowsill and it will grow in that direction. It's the same thing, I don't know if you've ever seen possibly on TV, fields of sunflowers, and those sunflowers actually follow during the day, okay? That's a bit of a different process, but it's the same sort of idea, and it helps us to understand that plants do respond to external stimuli. Okay, another type of tropism is chemotropism. What do you think that is in result to? Chemo.
Chemicals.
Chemicals, good, a chemical substance. And the last one, thigmotropism. Okay, I'm going to give it to you because it's a little bit more difficult. When a plant is in contact with another object that can cause it to grow in a specific way. For example, have you seen how people grow vines around strings or poles?
Yeah.
Okay, it's in contact with that object and that changes its direction of growth.
Oh.
Okay, you with me still?
Yes.
Right, so we're just going to look at two of these kinds of tropisms, namely phototropism and then geotropism. So phototropism, as we said, is movement in response to a light stimulus. Now, if we have a plant standing outside and the sunlight is beating down on it from pretty much all angles, okay, because we get sun all around us, we call that multi-directional light source. And you know that plant is going to grow straight up. Okay. Like we discussed earlier, a plant that is only getting light source from one direction, we call that a unidirectional light source. Uni means? One. And that will cause it to grow towards the light. And when it grows towards the light, we call it positively phototrophic, okay? So what happens is the light actually deactivates auxin, okay? The growth hormone is inactive in bright light. So on the side of the plant that is in darkness, there is more auxin, and that causes those cells to elongate more than the cells on the light side. And that's why, so this is my light side, this is my dark side. This side has more auxin in it. So the cells on this side are going to elongate more. And as they elongate and grow, they're going to push these ones over because they're not growing equally. Okay, understand? Right, we call that positively phototrophic. Now, there's always an uneven distribution of auxin if the light is unidirectional, and that's why we get that uneven elongation of cells and we get that movement of the stem. Okay, you guys still with me? Yes. You look very confused. Just taking it all in. Good. Okay, and then the second one I see we're going to look at is geotropism. So what was geotropism again?
Come, tell us, what is geotropism?
Geo.
When a plant responds to
Gravity.
Gravity, good. Okay, so movement response to gravity. Now, if you take a plant, and you can try this at home, take a plant and put it on its side. Okay, you put it on its side. You will actually see that the root will grow downwards and the shoot will grow up. Okay, so we call that root positively geotrophic, and therefore the shoot is what?
Positively phototrophic.
The shoot is growing the opposite way, so it is?
Negatively.
Negatively. A nice way to remember it is gravity pulls down. So whatever's growing down in the same direction as gravity is positive. If it is pushing against gravity, it's negative. Okay, think it's a struggle. It's a struggle to get up there. Okay, so try it at home and see if it works. Nice plant, on its side, the root will grow downwards and the shoot will grow upwards.
We enroll. But yes, anyway, what is your question to our teacher?
My question to the teacher is, are there other plant hormones?
Cool. Thanks for that question. See, you're famous, you're on TV. Okay, so your question was, are there other plant hormones? Yes, there are. Okay, of course, there's lots of things going on in a plant, so there's lots of different hormones needed to, do different processes. So the first one we're going to look at, spelled gibberellins, but again, just to confuse you, because that's what biology likes to do, we pronounce it gibberellins. Look carefully at the spelling. Okay, this hormone was discovered by a Japanese scientist when he was studying some plants and looking at a specific kind of disease that they had. And he discovered what we call GA3, okay? And what this does is it promotes rapid cell elongation. So just like we looked at auxins creating cell elongation, this does the same thing, but at a really, really rapid pace, okay? Now, if there is an absence of this hormone, what do you think the plant is going to look like? If we have the hormone, rapid elongation, so it's going to grow tall really, really quickly. If we don't have the hormone, what do you think the plant is going to look like?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Not tall, but?
Short.
Short, okay. Do you guys remember Gregor Mendel? He's our father of genetics, and he spoke about recessive genes and dominant genes. He spoke about dwarfism, specifically in pea plants. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Ringing bells. Okay, so for example, specifically in the pea plant, the dwarf pea plant, it has a recessive gene that does not enable it to produce this hormone, which is why it is short. And in fact, if you have a crop of these plants and you spray it with the hormone, it will actually promote growth because the hormone sinks or seeps in, gets soaked in by the plant, and the cells start to elongate rapidly, and we can actually get these plants to grow. So it's a good thing that this crazy Japanese scientist found this hormone and we can isolate it and use it in helping our crops to grow. Okay, another hormone we're going to look at is abscisic acid. Okay, it sounds like something that could maybe burn you or whatever, but don't get all freaked out. All this is a growth inhibiting hormone. What does the word inhibit mean?
Stop.
To stop. Okay, so it stops growth, right? Okay, so just to finish off, abscisic acid stops growth and it promotes dormancy. So what that means is specifically in autumn when it starts to get cold, a plant will produce this hormone to make it stop growing in the cold winter months when there's frost, because obviously that can affect the plant badly. The same with the buds. We don't want beautiful flowers to open just before winter and get destroyed by a frost. So this is a really important hormone in plants as well to keep them protected until it is their time to blossom.